distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Man that will tell you that he's the only one that loves you and nobody else loves you, that is a red flag. That is a red flag, because nobody can love you more than your parents.
He's wearing it, alright, that means, oh yeah, well, he does that.
Yeah.
That's not fair. You're judging me before you know me, and that's unfair to you.
We should focus on happiness at the end of the day. You should do what makes you happy rather than what will make someone else happy.
Good evening, I'm Prolific B, and Young and Prolific is back again. Today is Friday, and thank God it's Friday. This show, I always keep saying, is a platform to give our youth a voice and for them to air out their views. And today, it's a brilliant day because I actually had two guests, but one was I don't know how to say, she's not around. So I've got myself a lovely corporate woman. What I want you guys to do is my show, I want you to share it, I want you to like it. This show is being hosted, we're being hosted by Omega House Multimedia. Now, I've got a young lady here, fantastic, I am so proud of her. Her name is Marilyn. She's going to introduce herself and she's going to tell you what she does.
Hi, my name is Marilyn and I'm currently a senior analyst at BNP Paribas, so I work in investment banking.
Okay. Can you sort of like give us the why you went into investment banking? Because I know you're very intelligent. You are one of the top, one of the kids that you could have been a doctor or anything. Why did you? I'm not joking, but it's true though. But what is your education background in terms of your qualification so far?
At WorldRemit, we understand what the journey is about. How it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, WorldRemit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Their views, tell us what is bothering them, how we can actually help them in the community that we are. This evening, I've got a fantastic young lady, but before I go to that, our program is being hosted by Omega House Multimedia, and they are giving us this platform. And I want people to like my show, I want you to share my show, and I want you guys to understand that without these shows, we wouldn't be able to understand our youth. This evening, I've got a fantastic young lady. I had two guests, but unfortunately one is not available. So now I got myself my nice corporate young lady. And she's going to tell us why she chose a profession. She's going to introduce herself. Her name is Marilyn. So young lady, go for it.
Yeah, so my name is Marilyn and I'm currently working in investment banking as a senior analyst for private equity and transfer agency. Yeah.
Okay, one thing that I do know is you could have done anything, because give us your education background.
Okay.
Well, okay, and how you ended up in investment banking. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I started off in law. I thought I wanted to save the world, go into humanitarian law, and then somewhere along the lines, I kind of picked up capital markets law. So I started getting interested in how the world of finance works, how laws and regulations all connect together. Then I went to do my master's and I did that in international corporate governance, financial regulation and economic law. Yes. So that kind of merged my interests and my legal backgrounds together. And then after getting into that, I moved out of the UK and went to work in an offshore jurisdiction.
Yes.
And then that's kind of landed me to where I am right now.
Now you've piqued my interest. What did you change from law? Because the humanitarian law, what was the reasoning behind you initially looking at that aspect of it?
Well, I think it's quite difficult to get into humanitarian law. You have to know the right people, be in the right area.
So networking, and if you're black, it's not...
Yeah, it's not the
lucrative.
easiest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not lucrative as well. You can't make a lot of money from it.
Okay.
And then also I realized it was something that I genuinely wasn't that interested in. Like I had an interest in it, but as something kind of as a backfiller. So my humanitarian work would be with me working with younger people,
okay.
Let's say through church or whatever, but then the capital markets, so law, finance, money, all of that stuff, knowing how the whole system works is what kept me where I am.
Okay. So, in you know, when you look at our culture, as being born here, as a black young lady, okay, what were the struggles you actually encountered during when you started going to school, when you were growing up? Because you know, when you're younger, you don't really notice your blackness to when you grow up.
Yeah.
So when did you actually come to that realization that, because just now you touched on you going into humanitarian and realizing that breaking through was a bit difficult. So when did you realize that your color was a hindrance?
Probably pretty earlier on. I noticed probably when I was in year 11. You know, actually probably even year 9, when it came to applying for roles. You know, you have to do your work experience, in the work experience, and then I noticed that it was kind of difficult being able to find a spot for you. A lot of the other students who were, I guess, Caucasian were finding their spots relatively easy. But if it hadn't have been for a legal firm that was run by Nigerians, I don't know if I probably would have been able to have experience in law if it wasn't for them.
But don't you find that a bit worrying that as intelligent and as bright as you are, it's very difficult? Like, because when you're growing up, you think, oh, everybody is equal.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, no matter where I'm at, everything that I'm doing is sort of like I would end up actually getting somewhere. And then you start a career, and then you have to change your career based on your color and not breaking through. And looking at your other counterparts, you realize that, but I'm intelligent than them. But you realize I'm intelligent than them. So it's like, how, you know, what made you feel that the career that you chose was going to be much more, you're going to be able to break through?
I don't know. I think it's almost, I kind of want to say, not extremely, but it's kind of, let's see what works, basically. And like I said, it was something that I merged with my interests. So I was interested in money, I was interested in law, so it just ended up making sense. So it wasn't so much as, oh, like I didn't feel like I had been dealt too short of a hand, because I had something to fall back on. I had a fallback plan.
You know, as you were saying that, how much in your career stuff, how much do you normally, okay, what's the minimum you can make?
Minimum you can make, probably, I say 27,500. I'm starting off as a junior. Okay. Possibly.
What position are you in now?
I'm a team leader.
How much do you make? And give us a no. I don't want your this thing.
Yeah.
Do you get over 50?
Yeah.
You get over 50?
Yeah.
That's good. And no. The reason why I say that is when you're saying that, because people want to get into avenues whereby they know that they can break through. They understand me. How do you help somebody get to that level of, you know, if somebody says, I want to go, I want to make monies, what is the advantages?
The advantages are, I guess, well, in terms of how do you get there first, and then the advantages.
Yes, and then build yourself up.
So how to get there first would be, I guess you have to be interested in what it is that you're doing so that you can be able to excel. Okay. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. And then through that, you have to network, you have to know people. And something that I try to do with those who are coming out of law is try and help them as much as possible to help them understand the industry, understand how the game works, because it's all a game at the end of the day, especially working in the corporate world. You need to understand who to be around, what to say, where to go, what to read, especially because intelligence will take you far. Knowledge will take you further than, I guess, being in an area with people that you know that are well connected. It's more so what you know. But
I know you moved out of London.
Yes.
To actually further your career. Yeah. And I'm asking you, when you got there, I know the area that you would have gone would be more predominantly white. How were you able to fit in? Because I know it was a point whereby you said you were vegan. And I'm like, with all those chicken and stuff, you're vegan in yourself. Okay, how do you get into the corporate world knowing that, because you came from, you lived in Hackney.
Yeah.
You lived in Hackney before you went.
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself into an era whereby you have to try and be stush? How did you do it?
Well, it was a cultural shock at first, because I'm going from somewhere completely multi-diverse to somewhere where I think at one point I was the only black girl in the office.
How many people were in the office?
We had an office of 3 floors, maybe about 100 to 200 people in the office.
Wow.
Yeah, about 100 to 200 people in the office.
You're the only black?
And I was the only black.
Not black?
Oh, no,
female.
Black female.
How many?
There was another black guy.
So it was 2 of you.
So there was 2 of us that were there, and he had been there probably a couple of years before I had joined.
Wow.
So it was, there's a new girl in the office. Oh, she's black. Oh, her hair is different today. And that was, because in London, you change your hair every week.
Exactly.
And also you don't want to be known as the girl that changes her hair every week. You want to be known as the girl who has substance,
Okay, so you didn't want how you looked to interpret how you were judged.
How I was judged, exactly. So obviously with everything, trying to lead with excellence, of course. So making sure the work that I do is perfect, or as perfect as it can be, to be able to be reported to boards or whoever it is that it needs to go to, and not just being defined by, you're always looking so glamorous, your hair was long yesterday, and this, so it was a struggle at first, but I think after a point in time, because I wanted to fit in, I found myself wanting to fit in, because I didn't want to stand out too much. Yes. And then I realized that there's no way to fit in, because you stick out like a sore thumb. I'm just come here to do what I've come here to do, basically. And I guess that kind of helped me leapfrog into what I do today, because I found my confidence in my identity from, being so multi-diverse, knowing different things, being in touch with my heritage, and, of being of
because
diaspora.
You originally had the solidity of your heritage.
Exactly.
So it was you trying to incorporate it into the corporate world.
Into the corporate world, so that would be me, maybe rocking a headscarf to work one day, maybe an African print, something, along the ways, just so that I can also
have your identity,
have my identity, and also teach those around me that this is normal. Just because you guys don't see it often here doesn't mean that it's not normal, but it doesn't stop me from being able to do the work that I'm doing for you guys.
When you went into the boardrooms, and I know probably went into the boardrooms, and probably you have about 30 white people. Did you sometimes feel intimidated, or how did you feel? But I'm talking about the first days.
Yeah, I guess first days I thought I kind of had what I felt would be imposter syndrome. Like, what's imposter syndrome? So that's like where you feel like you don't deserve to be in the place where you maybe have been merited for. So working hard, studying, being able to applying for a role, going through the interview process, getting the job, and then you feel like, I'm kind of faking it right now. So that was what I felt like I had initially, and that I caught myself very quickly, because I felt like I was maybe a bit lesser than at first, and that was probably within the first month of me getting there.
What made you feel that way? Because knowing you, or knowing young black ladies, you people are confident because to be able to finish, to go, to live in Hackney and survive.
Yeah, I know, but you're in a strange land, so you're somewhere that you have no family around you, you have no friends at this point, and you're just kind of gauging your way to see, okay,
trying to navigate your way through.
Exactly. So you're already feeling like at a loss because no one around
there's no
you.
support system behind you,
even though you have your support system
but they're not
in the vicinity that you're in. Exactly. So you have that, and then on top of that, you're the newbie, you're the black newbie,
you're the black female
on top. Exactly. So it's kind of like there's just even more levels
to climb.
Exactly. But I think that I broke that down very quickly.
Okay.
When I started to, I guess, just gain confidence in the work that I was doing.
Yes.
Getting feedback from managers or those around me, and then my confidence began to grow, and I was like, I can actually do this. This is actually really easy.
Yes.
So and then from then I just thought, I can't, if I stick to that imposter syndrome or feeling like I'm lesser than, then I'm not going to be able to do what I came here to do.
How do you advise people to get themselves out of that?
I think it's a self-assessment, and also surrounding yourself with people who uplift you as well. So knowing that I can either come and speak to you or, call my friends and they would be like, no, you've got this, girl, don't worry. Like, this is a new environment, but it's fine. It's a lot of internal work that needs to be done, because to be fair, there's nothing that someone can say to you that can make you feel better. It's you. It's all the work is in here. Like all the work is up here as well. So you read, you become more knowledgeable. So when you're being questioned, you can come back with your answers very quickly. You understand what they're saying. You understand new terms and so on and so forth. So it's a lot of work that you have to do, but you have to take that responsibility to do for yourself, because no one will do it for you.
Do you think during the time that you started the job, when you got there and you're looking at your environment being different, do you feel that the network that you had at work, the network in the organization actually supported you as well?
No, definitely not. I think I had probably in the whole of that office 2 people who were really ended up becoming very supportive. One was my manager, and at first I thought she was, a bit, against me, but I realized that what she was doing was she was refining my craft. Okay. And she really encouraged me.
And she was Caucasian.
And she was Caucasian. And then also another Ghanaian guy as well, who was the other black guy in the office as well. And he would always be like, "Don't worry about it, man. Like you'll be fine. Don't think about it too much." Whenever I go and speak to him about maybe my concerns or whatever, he said, don't concern yourself with these kind of things. This is the field that you're in right now. All you need to do is just shine. So, that was great encouragement from him, to be honest. I think out of that was the 2, and that was me starting off brand new. Yes. Starting off brand new. Again, when they start to, I think one thing that I noticed is once my office or those in leadership started to see me come out of my bubble and shine more and do a lot more, it was as if there was some kind of...
a power struggle.
Yeah, there was a power struggle.
It's kind of, how dare you come?
Yeah,
how can you... That's the point, because they expect you to be at the back burner.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, you had your confidence already. It's just that then you were trying to find your feet.
Exactly.
So how did that go with that?
I think... very quickly I understood the game, because like I said, with the corporate world, there's a game. There's always someone that's, eyeing out for you or looking out for you to be like, oh, watch this.
They want you to slip up.
Maybe want you to slip up a bit. There's always going to be one. I won't say always, because it's not in totality, but they may, more likely
there's a probability.
There's a probability that there will be one waiting to see, this one, I'm not sure.
And you being black is kind of like...
you stand out even more, so it's hard to... So if you're doing something, and a woman as well, and it's quite crazy, because even between, let's say, a white woman and a black woman, you do find that power struggle, because it's as if you don't know what you're doing. Yes. But you do, because you've been reading, you've been learning, you've been going hard every night to ensure that when you come to work the next day, you're not caught off guard.
Yes. You see, but it's very sad that it's like you had to go out to get a job, whereas your counterparts that stayed in London actually are still struggling, because in whatever field. So it's not more of your intelligence. So do you feel that people have to move out of the area to...
I think sometimes it is necessary because London is so saturated with so much talent. So many people live in London and everyone wants to work in London. Everyone wants to work in a corporate firm there. But I feel like sometimes it's necessary to, you know, leave what is familiar, go into the unfamiliar setting, gather yourself and then come back again because you'll be jumping leaps and strides in comparison to maybe staying. But that's kind of my, I guess, perspective on it. You don't always have to, but if you are struggling to find something in London, rather than settling, sometimes looking elsewhere always helps.
Do you feel that with the corporate world that you're in, your African heritage is in conflict? Like your African culture and stuff is in conflict in what you do? Because I know that as a young woman, they expect you to get married, they expect you to have children, they expect you to be in a kitchen, you know, it's kind of those mundane things. Do you feel that the culture that you're in supports what you do? Because you're Ghanaian.
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. That's a tricky question because very often than not, I'd probably have conversations with someone. I'll say, okay, I'm doing this, I'm working here, and this is what my career path is looking like for the next maybe 5-10 years. And then they're like, hey, are you not going to get married, or you know?
That's my point.
And I'm just like, is that? I didn't know that would inhibit my career. The thing. You know.
Okay, on that note, because I know I've got a friend that keeps asking me, oh, Nigerian or Ghanaian, who do you choose? And I said, obviously, my kids are Nigerian, so hey, you know it's Nigerian. Yeah. Do you feel that when it gets to this marriage aspect, and we're talking about, do you think if you got married to a Ghanaian, the person will push you? Because you've got friends that they're married or they're in relationships with Ghanaian. I
think our generation is probably a little bit different. So I would say yes, they would, I guess, from the younger, because everyone is striving for ambition now. I mean, everyone who's serious is striving for ambition. So they'd want you to be just as ambitious as they are. So I won't really say, oh, maybe a Ghanaian might not push you too hard or a Nigerian will push you harder or whatever. But one thing that I have noticed more than not is that Nigerians usually tend to push their...
Which is true. No, the thing is, don't look at me because I agree with you. No, I'm just saying that I agree with you in a sense that all my Nigerian friends that I know that they're married, they don't care if they're a laborer and the wife is a doctor. As for him, so long as he will push the wife, do you understand me? One thing that I found in like the Ghanaian community, like the guys and some of the friends that I know is when a man says that the wife is got a degree, he wants to get a degree too. Even if he's not going to use it, it's the fact that how dare my wife, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm looking at your generation, how that differs, because I know that with everything that you do, do you understand? You're striving for excellence, because I don't see that you're going to reach the top of your sort of like your profession, and then you're going to come and say that I'm going to sit at home, and then I'm not saying that you're not going to have, you might have nannies, you might have whatever it is, do you understand? Or you might decide to get your mom involved, but my point is you are not going to sort of like stop being a professional because your husband dictates. Would you marry a man of that nature, a man that would tell you that you have to sit there and take care of the kids?
Definitely not, because no one, I mean, even in terms of me leaving London or leaving the UK to go and work, my parents could not stop me. So they always want the best for me, you know, and they always trust me to make the best decisions. So of course not, I wouldn't be with someone that would tell me to sit down and not do.
The way you love your parents are very different from the way you love a man. Do you understand me? I'm not saying that you compromising makes you weaker, but I'm asking you that would you marry a man that would sort of like chain you to the kitchen sink?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not, because I'm more than just a dishwasher. If you wanted a dishwasher, you can buy one and put it in the house.
Which is true, though. Yeah, that's
so,
true. That's
you
true.
know,
That's
there's
true.
more substance to me, and also, I think being with someone like that, you have to understand kind of where your reach extends. My reach extends further than just me being in a corporate world. It extends to also the other black little girls coming up in this world, also wanting to make leaps and strides. So how am I going to do that behind the kitchen sink? You know,
which is true. And it's really good that you said that, because sometimes I look at our culture and I look at our mothers, and some of that impacted on us. That if like you're going forward, as you said, somebody will tell you, why are you not getting married? Why are you not doing this? You understand? Oh, you've reached this age. Oh, where is your boyfriend? You know, that kind of stuff. I'm looking at it from a point that when you're going into a relationship, what would you look for?
Oh, I look for first someone who loves God, because you can tell the compass of an individual from what their beliefs are.
Yes,
exactly. And then also someone who pushes me to be the best at what I can do. If that be in anything I want to do, will always push me to do the best and be the best. I think those are probably the two riding things that I look in for in a man. Even because, and also someone that is that can use his hands and work and do something. Isn't idle. Doesn't just sit there and throw money about. Knows how to save, knows how to invest, understands the world. I think maybe those three. They say every child gets their sense of who they're going to marry, like from their parents.
Do you think your dad was a role model for you to actually want that kind of man?
100%. Very 100%, because my dad is one of those guys that, if something needs to get done, he's getting it done. And if he needs to learn how to do it, he will learn how to do it. If he needs to, seek, knowledge from someone else, he'll go and do that. He would always humble himself to be able to, help us out, everyone out in the house. He loves us effortlessly, fully.
Yes.
So definitely
unconditionally.
Unconditionally. You can mess up tomorrow.
Yes.
And he will still love you. He will probably shout at you, tell you, hey, why did you do that for? But then he will still love you even more, like 10 times harder.
And he continues to support you.
Continues always.
And then when you look at your mom, what traits do you get from your mom that would say that, okay, this is a strong, because at the end of the day, we know that the African man is a strong man.
Yeah.
Yes.
The African woman is also a very strong woman as well.
Yes.
I think one thing I get from my mom is probably, I think it's her ability to just create. Mom can pick up anything and just
do it.
Then she's created something. And she can be very, I think the word is ambidextrous.
Yeah, ambidextrous, yeah.
So she can be very
versatile.
Versatile. She can make things work. You know, if there's nothing there, then she will create. I don't know how she does it, but she'll just create something out of nothing. So I think that's probably what I get from her, my ability to
navigate and create.
Yeah. And probably also like her bubbly nature as well. Yes, quite, she can get along with so many people, so that,
So I know when you were growing up, did you feel that those traits were going to be of use to you, or you just saw it? When did you notice that those traits were what was going to enable you to sort of like get ahead in life?
They say something like you take things for granted when you're in it. It's not until you've left, until you're just like, oh wow, like this has built me to where I am. So I think when I left for university the first time, and there I learned that, I've picked up a lot from my parents.
What did you pick up?
So I picked up organisation, ability to cook, because human beings.
What do you cook?
I cook everything.
No, what do you cook?
Anything. I don't know.
Do you cook African food? You cook Ghanaian food, Nigerian food?
Yeah.
We're talking about fufu, peanut soup.
Yeah, everything.
You say, wow. Yeah. No, and then no. You do moi and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nice one. No, but it is, because, I always say, my mom was an Ekuapem woman, and she taught me how to cook, because she was saying that you don't know what is in somebody else's food. So she said it was economical to cook.
Yeah.
Now your age group, you lot don't know how to cook. Some of you guys, most of you guys don't know how to cook. You see. Why did you choose that avenue of learning? No, because now
I don't think it chose. I chose it. I think it chose me, to be honest. Being a firstborn daughter of a Ghanaian family.
Yes.
You just have to know these things because they are good skills to have in life, period.
What other skills do you have?
I guess I can clean. I know how
know how to do makeup,
hair,
wigs, hair. Oh, keep going. The reason I'm saying that is, it's like we are stuck.
Yeah.
in an avenue that, if you are in a corporate world, you don't know how to do certain stuff.
Yeah.
But you are all rounder.
Yeah.
Like you cook, you dance, you do makeup.
I'm not that good of a dancer. They're not as good as my sister.
Your younger sister, yes. But you cook.
Yeah.
You see.
I can, if I put my mind to it, I can most probably do it.
Yes.
To be honest, there's nothing that I think it's something that I learned from my dad as well. Is this like, someone's done it before, so it means that you can do it as well. You know, you just have to apply yourself.
So how do you socialize? Because I know apparently when you're in a corporate world, you don't have time to socialize and stuff.
Well,
does that affect how you socialize with your friends?
I think, okay, so socializing in the corporate world can be a bit hazy sometimes, because what the corporate world is used to, I mean, they work long hours, work, heavy workloads, and then most likely what they want to do is drink on a Friday. And
You're not a heavy drinker.
I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm not keen like that.
Yes,
do you get what I mean? And most likely than not, when it's time, when the clock, is over, then I want to just go home.
But you still have your friends. I'm just saying that I know there are friends that you grew up with.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you still have those friendships?
Yeah, 100%. Because those girls we cheered each other on from being 13 till now. In our 20s, so we definitely stuck together. And also they're very wise. They have their heads screwed on completely. Nice. They're all excelling in their industries as well, very, very well. And they're also doing something else on the side as well to backfill, so that they have their own kind of what you call a side hustle. And then they also work in their industry, and they're flying in the industry as well. So it's a good unit of friends to have, basically.
What made you choose friends that will actually empower yourselves? Because normally when you're younger, you just want to fit in.
I think I've always been kind of like a weird one growing up.
When it's a weird one, in what sense?
So in terms of, I'd always seen way too bigger picture. So from maybe being in year 4 or something, me and my best friend back then, when they asked us what do you want to be, people were saying, I want to be a fairy, I want to be this. We said we want to be lawyers, we want to be a barrister.
Wow.
And the teacher's like, whoa, these little black girls, what are they saying?
These little black girls.
And that's what we would write. We would always write, and we'd always dream about it, and we'd always talk about it. So it became something that we live from.
It's kind of like you set a path, and you decided to go on that path.
And then that's what kind of guided us throughout our whole,
career choice, your life,
university choices, who we talk to, where we go, what we do, all that stuff is just guided us. That's what's guided us.
When you said, I was laughing. Last week? I saw a clip of, there was this Chinese boy that somebody was interviewing him. Oh, when you grow up, what do you want to do? He said he wants to, I've forgotten what the actual stuff, but he wants to create medicine that people wouldn't die again. Then they got to the Ghanaian child. He said she wants to do mutuo. And I remember, I just sat back and I was saying that, and the teacher said, what do you say? Well, I want to do mutuo. And I just felt so sad that with everything that is out there in the world, do you understand me? She has this little piece of, you understand what I'm saying? And what you said actually resonated with me, that when you guys were in year 4, you guys said you want to be lawyers, Now, you guys have excelled and got to a point whereby when you are talking, when anybody is talking, with your intellect, your skill set, everything that you do, you can turn around and say, yes, this is what we want to do. And you wanted to achieve and excel. Do you understand? How do you communicate that to your peers or the people, your younger peers that are coming up?
I think what I would say is that the road is not smooth, but it takes the first step to get you going. So basically, if you have a vision in place, just make it plain and start working towards it. There'll be a few hiccups along the way, because with anything there are hiccups. Nothing is ever smooth sailing or smooth going. But it just take that first step and find those around you who can help you. There's LinkedIn now, so you can go on LinkedIn, you can connect with so many people, you can tell them your story, say, hey, this is my background and this is what I'm interested in. Would you be able to give me some kind of advice to be able to help me along my way? There's loads of networks, especially after everything that happened with Black Lives Matter. There's loads of networks for young people to tap into, to be able to get their, get their
trying to get their aspirations up and then try and sort of like move forward. But you know,
move forward.
When you say that, I always keep saying that the system, even though, okay, you might get one black person getting through, the Black Lives Matters, I feel that is just something that they've put there to make it seem as if, oh, you can break through. But there's still a barrier that you have to get through to get there.
Yeah, I think the duty, like there is a duty on us who are out there in the corporate world already to be able to help pull our brothers and sisters up as well. So that's what I'm always trying to do. If there's an opening, I'm right, like, hey, I know this person who can do this and I think they're great for the job, you know. And I've done that numerous occasions, you know, just to be able to help best place people, because they are genuinely smart. They're very intelligent kids, you know, black kids, you know, against some of maybe their white counterparts who have been brought into industries because of nepotism. There's loads of it. I've heard of many people who have been in industry for 15 years and don't have a Scooby clue what they're doing.
Yes.
You know, and that's all because, maybe they had an uncle who worked in the business, or they had a brother
that works in the firm,
who worked in the firm as well, and then that's how they've just brought them in. And 15 years they've stood there and
they've not done anything, but they're still there.
Yeah. So that's where it's, you know, it's up to us, like I said, in the industry, to be pulling those, you know, below us and training them and teaching them, okay, so this is how you communicate with the director. This is how you communicate with the CEO. This is how you ensure that your mark remains wherever you go. Okay. And this is how you move forward in whatever business it is. And then let's draw up the next 10-year plan. Where is it that you want to go? Do you want to go into consulting? Do you want to be able to teach on what you've learned? You know, so on and so forth. There's so much you can do. I think, like I said, the onus is on us.
Is it when you say that, it sounds very easy but difficult. You see, one of the reasons, and I'm always going to say this, and I know my producer is going to say, oh, do your show and stop talking about Omega House. Omega House is one of those platforms in all the media houses that I know that has given me this opportunity. Do you understand me? They don't charge me for being here. What they do is they actually support me. Even when I get 2 viewers, my producer says, you know what, it is for a community. You see, there's lights, you see the cameras, you see everything that is around. He does it just to make an impact. With what you're saying, if somebody wants to actually contact you, is there a way they can come through Omega House to get through to you
100%.
So that you can actually support them?
100%. I'm always looking to help anyone who's looking to get into the corporate field, or probably is doing law right now, don't know what they want to do next, doesn't have a clue what they want to do next, or maybe they're interested in finance but don't know too much. And I'm always, my contact.
Okay, what I'll do is I would talk to the producer after the show, and then we would see how they can contact him to be able to contact you. That because his mantra is to try and build the next generation of empowering the future leaders. Do you understand? And that is the reason why he gives us this platform, especially with the blacks. Now, when you sit here and you say what you say, it really, I bet he's sitting there thinking, that is what I've been telling you. You see? I bet that's what he's saying. You see? Because he just wants to build a community, a strong, black, intelligent community with leaders that would make an impact. Because when you came today, we were still talking to you about you guys getting into different areas to be able to have a voice in terms of making decisions. What you're saying, it's just that you've said it a little bit later, and I've not got a number to give to them. But I will put it on the, I'll see whether he can get your number or anything on Omega Live, so that they contact him, then they can contact you, so that anything that you do, because he reflects, because if we do not have this platform, how are we going to be able, because you sitting there, apart from people that know you, there'll be other people somewhere that they don't know you, and so they'll be sitting there struggling, oh, I wanted to go into law, I've heard this lady talk, or she makes it sound so easy, but you know it isn't easy. But as you say, nepotism is, by these days, people don't fill out forms anymore. No. It's like people recommend.
Yeah, I've had it. I mean, I'm a team leader, so I've had numerous recommendations come through from someone who works in the business, working in the bank.
Yes.
So, oh, my friend's looking for something, and you know, I've just sent you her CV. So that's gone out of HR and
Yes,
into my
my-
inbox.
yes.
Do you get what I mean? And then it's up to me to
assess it and see whether the person.
yeah, and then have a conversation with them. Maybe you go for a coffee or whatever, you know. So, and especially in this day and age, the way people apply for jobs is very unconventional. You can use any unconventional method to apply for a job. Maybe you, I'm not going to say stalk someone, but maybe you find out where someone that you want to, or if someone works in a bank that you'd want to work in, maybe find out where they like to go for coffee.
Okay.
So maybe one day you bump into them in the coffee shop and say, hi, oh, you're this so-and-so. You're maybe the CEO of this bank. I've been reading up on you. And from then, you know, people like
It's kind of like you strike, sort of like a communication.
Yeah, and before you know it, you have the contact to someone who was the CEO for a bank, you know, and that's again unconventional methods, you know, of being able to apply. I mean, I've never done that before, but I've heard it being done. Exactly, and it works. So, you know, it may not work all the time.
So you applied directly and you got your job?
Yeah, I applied direct. So I went through, when I was moving from my first job to my second one, I went through a recruitment agency. And then they managed, it just so happened that the girl at the recruitment agency really, really liked me. And she was, you know, ranting and raving, oh, you're so cool. And I think it was because I was black, but hey.
You take it however you get it.
Anyways. You're so cool, and you know, and then before you know it, she found me into the role I'm in right now. And there are gems like that still exist, you know. It's not totally, you know, completely bad out there. There are still those gems, and when you find them, you hold on to them along the way. But if you don't find them too, then you connect with those who will be able to help you out.
You know, sometimes I look at the struggles of you guys and the challenges that you have. When you're talking to your counterparts and they say they're not finding jobs and they're not getting jobs, because you got cousins and you got stuff, how do you encourage them and how do you sort of like give them that sense of it will be okay and, you know, just hang in there? How do you...
I think I always share my story. So when I graduated out of Nottingham Trent, with my legal degree, I graduated with a 2-2. Graduating with a 2-2 isn't great. You know, you're actually just the back of the pile, because the 2-1s, there's already so many of them.
And the
first as well, they've probably done, if you haven't done something ancillary to add to your degree, you're just in the same.
When you say ancillary, because it's not everybody that understands.
Oh, so you haven't done something additional to add to your study. So if you haven't done maybe paralegaling work whilst you were studying, or worked and, you know, had some kind of work experience, then you just, sometimes you could be part of the pile unless you're a high flyer, and then a firm might take you. So me graduating 2-2, I was so down, I was so distraught. I just thought, what on earth? Like, I'd worked so hard and I didn't really quite make it as to my standards. So then I went on to do my master's. Doing my master's, I ended up getting a distinction in my thesis.
Okay.
And so that gave me it spruced me up a little bit more, but still, I'm still in the same pile as everyone trying to find a job in this very small London. And then it's literally just apply.
Okay.
Apply.
How many jobs did you apply to?
Oh, I probably plus 100.
Right.
Plus 100 jobs. Definitely more than 100 jobs I applied for, and I did it different ways. I sent emails out to people directly. I used LinkedIn to send emails. I tried to call people. I tried to call recruitment agencies. I applied on different websites. I did everything I thought I could do. And then, you know, it's when you're doing something repetitive, they say that if you're doing it the same way over and over again, you'll be mad. You'll be mad to think that
that's Einstein.
You'd be mad to think that you'll get a different result.
Yeah.
So you got to chop and change it. You got to switch it up. You got to call someone this time. You got to speak to this one. You got to chase them up, and so on and so forth. And that was a period of probably, maybe about 6, 7, 8 months or something like that. So nearly a full year doing that repetitively. Always. You know, some days you'll have your down days, but you pick yourself back up again and you go, because you need a job. You know, you need a job, and especially if you're burning to do something that you really love. There is a space for you. There's a space for everyone. I would say there's a space for everyone if you're smart about how you approach it. And then through that way, manage to get a job. And then it was just, once you get that first experience, you go again and you apply. And even if you have that first experience, sometimes you can be seen as, maybe a bit too junior. You know, maybe she needs
What was the first experience in London, or was it?
It was in abroad, so okay. So you get that experience from there, and even when you're applying, you're still, you know, it can be a bit hazy.
It's a bit dicey,
Exactly, it can be a bit dicey. And then so from getting into a second job, and then eventually everything starts to click because you begin to pick up things that you probably didn't have when you first started applying. So then that's why I say that when you get to your first job, what you need to do is you need to buckle up and start learning. Follow around the people you need to follow. If they don't like you, be there anyways. You know?
If they don't like you,
if they don't like you, be there anyways. Ask the questions, ask numerous questions. Make sure to them it seems that you're taking on what it is that they're saying. You're conforming to the business. You're understanding the business in a different way. And keep doing that. You need to look like a learner.
Yes.
Someone who loves to learn, someone who likes to take on. And then you can move forward from then onwards. So it's just, and then you keep building.
How come it's very different? Because as you said, because I used to work in NHS, and I had loads of managers that they didn't know what they were doing. Okay, how come it seems that black people have to work 3 or 4 times harder to get to where?
I want to say, by nature, some of us are quite hardworking already. I don't know if it's what slavery had instilled.
That was no slaves. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I don't know whether slave. I don't know what it is, but I've noticed that. That it's just the way we are. We learn from our parents as well. First generation, Brit. So I learned from my parents. I see them hardworking to the T. They work like it's their father's business, you know. And I took that on as well.
I didn't take that on.
I learned from them. I saw them working hard, and I thought, I have to work 10 times harder. Until you sit back and you're like, wait. How come this guy can choose the work that he does?
Yes.
But everything you give me, I can't choose what I take on. And then you start to change the game very slowly.
How do you do that?
Well, you have to be good at what you do. If you're going to be able to leverage that, because sometimes you can push it. You need to be good at what you do. Otherwise, you're just going to be
like mediocre.
Yeah.
Because you can't be like them. Because if they're going to the pub, you have to still be in the office.
Yeah.
If they are going partying, you have to be in the office.
Exactly.
If they tell you to get home, to tell you get to the office at 9 o'clock, you have to be there at 8 or 7.
Get there 7.
No, it's before time.
Yeah, when they leave, you make sure you're still sat there. When they leave the office, you make sure that you're still sat there. But then again, it's when you take pride in the work that you do, you want to ensure that you do it
very well,
so that no one can say anything. You're already at a disadvantage. Well,
yes.
You're already in their eyes. You're already at a disadvantage because you're black.
Yes.
So you just don't want to give them anything.
Any excuse for them to actually
say, "Oh, this person is this way."
She's not. She's slacking. She's not doing.
Do you get what I mean?
Job, yes.
So it's like that. It's just having pride in. And it's not because, you're allowing them to
dictate to you.
Do you get what I mean? It's you're having pride in what it is that you do.
Yes.
So everything I'm doing it with excellence. If it means I need to stay here till 10 to finish this work off, I'm going to do that. So that when you come in tomorrow, that work is done and it's done perfect.
And you can't critique it.
And you can't critique it. So it's just all about having pride, and I feel like it's almost like a black pride that you have that I know I could do this work
and I can do better than them
than anyone. Do you get what I mean? If you put me here and you put another one of my colleagues again, you tell us to do the same piece of work, I'm giving all.
You're giving 110%.
Exactly, and I think that's something that. As young people, we have to learn. It's long, but you get used to it because it becomes practice. It's something that we have to learn that, staying late isn't always a disadvantage. Obviously, you don't sleep in the office, but you have to make sure that you do everything that you do. You do it with passion. Pride. You do it with passion. You ensure that at least if I'm not here, someone can say
somebody can miss that. Wow, if Marilyn was here, she would have been doing this and have been done. So exactly. You have to be missed.
Yeah,
it's make your
presence known.
Felt. Yeah, presence felt. Yes.
Yeah, and that takes time. It takes hard work. It takes effort. It's tiring. It's not fun all the time. But when you can walk away knowing that, man, I did everything.
I'm the best. It's kind of like no. But when you say that, it's kind of like when you look at athletes and basketball players, you look at Olympic stuff. They say they train and train and train. So you know what you're saying, that to be able to get to where you are, you have to do
train.
That.
Because we're like, you have to train. You have to train yourself. You have to train your mind
mentally.
You have to, because it can get rough. You know what do they say? They say sometimes that it's a white man's world.
Yes,
and it
rough. Really is, because
it's rough.
It's structured that way. And as you say, if you are in a position whereby you can do your job in an excellent way, why not?
Exactly. You'll be doing yourself a disservice not doing it with excellence, not meeting your deadlines and so on and so forth. But Also just keeping everything in balance and not putting too much pressure on yourself that you end up snapping because you just can't attain something. If you can't do it, then you can't do it, and that's fine. Just tap out and be like, look, I may not be strong in this place,
But you find something that you're strong at.
I'm strong at this, you know, and maybe I can work to become strong at this because you don't give up on this, but it may not be as, you know, how strong I am in this side of things.
You know, when you were growing up and you wanted to go into a career, did you think life was going to be this difficult?
I always say that. Me and my friends, we always say we were sold a dream.
Who sold you that dream?
The adulthood life is a dream, literally, because
It's always sold a dream.
in my head, and probably naively, I thought I'm gonna go finish school, I'm gonna go to university. After university, I'm gonna get a wonderful job, and then after I get my wonderful job, I'm gonna do whatever, you know. Hey.
You didn't even think about marriage at all?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously that comes along the line, but
Yeah.
I'm career oriented, so I wanted to make sure that my foundations are solid.
Solid, yes.
Do you get what I mean? So coming out of university and thinking, oh, what am I going to do?
Yes, apply for
You know?
hundreds and hundreds of jobs.
I applied every day. Every day.
How many
without
jobs a
fail.
day?
Probably something like 5, depending on how
Wow.
long the applications
Was,
take
yes.
as well. So probably something like 5 at certain times. You call, no one picks up, then you put them on a spreadsheet. So, okay, I'll call them tomorrow just to make sure. You call one person and they tell you, oh no, we don't have anything now. So you check in next week to see if they have anything yet. That kind of thing. It was very always moving.
When did your reality break? You said you sold a dream of
My
life.
reality broke when I think coming out of university, my reality. No, actually, before I went, probably as I entered university, because when I entered uni, it was the year that they changed everything from 3,000 to 9. The uni fees were 9,000. So I was just like, hey, like, where am I supposed to get this money from? Realizing
That was just your degree, not your
exactly,
master's.
and that was just my degree. Thinking that, wow, I'm really gonna be broke when I come out of university.
Really broke, yeah.
I'm gonna have no money in my pocket when I come out of uni. I'm gonna be at a minus, a very, very big minus.
Yes.
And it's incrementally
A
going
minus,
to be growing.
minus, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's going to be growing even
Yes,
more
yes,
as I'm
with
trying to pay
interest.
this thing back.
Yes.
So that's when I thought, this is a joke. Like, I need to do something.
You need to back up.
Oh man, I need to make sure that I am doing everything in my power that I can do to ensure that at least like I'm not worrying about the future, and just lay the future up as straight as I possibly can and then leave it into God's hands for him to do the rest, because there's only so much one can do. So yeah, it was after I'll probably entering university when I thought, this ain't it. This ain't it.
The dream, your
This is
bubble
like,
just
someone want to win
somebody
million
burst
pounds?
out your bubble big time. Life did, didn't it?
Life did, but that is life, isn't it? You know, nothing's peachy and rosy.
Okay, you know, as you're growing up and you're looking at relationships, you're looking at relationships. How difficult do you think they are? Because you know, you look at people's relationships, because when you're younger, you see moms and dads and you see all those ones. I know your parents are still together, but you've got friends and family members that the relationships are broken up. When you look at relationships now, what impact does it have on you?
I don't. Okay, so
How old are you again?
26.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this stage of my life, it can be quite daunting, because you can also think about the what ifs. Like I said, I'm quite career focused. So I'm thinking of my career and I'm thinking of relationships as well. I'm just like, how does the
You balance
two
it?
marry? You know, how do I make sure everything is ticking in clockwork? But then I see kind of my parents, for example, I see their relationship and everything is not always peachy, it's not always rosy, but they work it out. Do you get what I mean? And I think from there I get some kind of relief.
Solace.
Yeah, solace or relief, kind of like, okay, if they can
It's
do
workable.
it, yeah, it's workable. Then surely it should be workable. If two parties are willing to work on it, then it should. It should be workable, you know. And if one party isn't, then there's not much you can do, is there? Because again, it's moral compass.
You know, as
at the
I'm
end of the
talking to
day.
you, sound so white, but sorry, I'm not white. No, because it's kind of like you've come up, because I knew you used to live in Essex.
Yeah.
And then you moved, and then you came to live in Hackney.
Yeah.
Okay, you went to Hackney, moved to Essex, came back.
Yeah.
And then now moved
Out
to
of
the
the UK,
islands.
yeah.
Yes. So I'm just looking at, so when you're in a relationship, I've asked you that what do you look for an older son? Because I'm looking at the family life aspect of it, because you are an all-rounder. You are a corporate woman, you cook, you know the dynamics of if you're going to get married, what you have to be and all the stuff, because there are those young ladies that, apart from their wigs and their makeup, and their perfumes that they buy, they don't know how to cook, they don't know. And I look at you and you've got this view of intelligence, you are you're up in your game. That's the way that I'll say it. Thanks. No, but it's true. But you know, I ain't gonna lie to you for real though. But what I'm saying is, so when you get married, how would you expect, whatever you guys are going through, how would you expect to navigate it? Because I always said men are egotistical and chauvinistic, whichever way you want it. I can see people swearing at me, but that's another issue. How would you be able to marry it? Because you don't want your husband to feel, because I remember my mom was a strong woman. And I remember my dad who always said, oh, you're acting as if you're the breadwinner of that stuff. And it wasn't that my mom was a breadwinner. It was the fact that she had foresight and she could predict certain stuff. So she put measures in place, the contingency plans. Do you understand me? How would you be able to do that?
Oh, I guess.
Because as a young person in your era, most of you can't think past tomorrow.
Nah, yeah, I know that. I know that, but I'm always thinking 10 steps, or I like to say I always try and think 5 steps ahead, sometimes to my detriment because of that. But I think the way to do that is to just, I guess, seek advice from those who are doing it and not doing it.
Do you prefer a black or white person?
I think I prefer...
No.
I think I prefer a black person because I'm very colourful. Yes. So, and I'm very in touch with I'm very in touch with my heritage. So, cultural, for me, that's what makes sense, to be with someone.
And the black person doesn't necessarily have to be Ghanaian?
No, it doesn't have to necessarily be.
Okay. And
they just have to be able to understand culture and understand kind of what it is that we're going through in this day and age, as black young people, whoever it is.
I know you've got a strong faith. You've got you've got a brilliant voice. Okay, how do you incorporate that in your life, your faith?
It's my compass. It's my compass for everything. Every decision I want to make, everything I want to do, I put it before God and I just ask Him, listen, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go. Help direct me or give me the strength to be able to navigate this arena. And more than not, He does. And even when I'm standing at a crossroad where I'm just like, I don't actually know where to turn to, He always shows up, with His wisdom, with words, with people, with someone to, help direct me out the way. And also with it's obviously it's not just like a poof magical thing.
Yes.
I'm looking for answers, and so I'm searching for answers, and when I'm searching, I find them because I believe that that's what He's directed my way. Otherwise, if I don't get the answers, then it's not where He wants
meant
to be. Exactly.
But you still listen to R&B and hip hop, isn't it? Okay. No, let me get that straight, because it's like in our culture, it's kind of like if you listen to all these other songs, it's kind of like, oh, you're not hearing God and all those stuff. But as you say, your faith does not infringe on how you socialize and you live your life, what you listen to.
My faith isn't inflicted by any of the other stuff.
Okay, we've got a few more minutes to go, and these few minutes that we have, I know currently you've lost a friend. Do you understand me? How has that impacted on you?
I think it's shown me 100% that life is short.
How old was your friend?
He was 23.
And it was Corona, right? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it showed me that life is short, and that I think one thing that he has taught me is that you don't have to have money to reach people. He was such a big character, loving guy, and always willing to help young people out, always willing to help his friends out. And I think it's inspired me to do more with my resources, everything I have, all the experience that I have and everything like that, and be able to help those around me as well and pour out that love, that same love that he poured out to others as well. So he's definitely 100% inspired me even further to do more.
Yes. Thank you, Marilyn. You see, I want to thank everybody that has actually watched this show. I want everybody to take from today, because most of the time our black youths are branded that because the system's against you, you can't do anything for yourself, you cannot persevere. We've got a lady here that she's going to, anybody that wants any help to be able to climb up the ladder in terms of career, anything, you'll be able to contact Omega TV. My producer, we will leave a number with him so that they can go through him to get to you. One thing I want everybody to understand, I want you to like my page, I want you to share. This program is a source of hope for the youth, the youth in our community, because we are forever hearing that when this person killed themselves and there's knife crime. Yes, there are kids that are doing things that's positive, and we've got media houses like Omega House that are doing this positivity. And sometimes I always say that if it was a funeral or it was knife and gun crime, you see that I'll get 1,000 viewers. Do you understand me? The fact that I am doing a program that would actually push us forward, we don't actually support. Do you understand me? And with me, I am here to support the youth, because I was once a youth and then I've grown up, and I realized that I understand you guys because I'm like you. I thank everybody, and I love Omega House dearly. Thank you so much, Joe, and have a lovely weekend, and hope to see you in 2 weeks' time. Good night.
We understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them. At World Remit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them. At World Remit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.